And together, we're building the world's most prosperous economy and the most inclusive society anywhere in the world. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Since my election, America has gained 7 million new jobs. The unemployment rate has hit the lowest rate in a half a century. The average unemployment rate under my administration is lower than any previous administration in the history of our country. You believe that one? That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. The unemployment rate among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached record lows all time, never been lower than what it is now. And by the way, our poll numbers with African Americans, with Hispanic Americans, with Asian Americans, the other side's getting a little nervous because they are like rocket ships. They're going up. African American youth unemployment so important. It was a horrible number a few years ago. You remember, it was a really terrible thing was happening. It's just reached the lowest time in the history, the best number in the history of our country. And African American poverty numbers have hit the lowest rate ever recorded. Wages for African American workers have increased by $2,400 per year, also a record. And you know this, for decades, the Democrat Party has betrayed African Americans. They've betrayed us all. They betrayed all of us. But we're delivering for African Americans, we're delivering for Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans like nobody has ever done. We are fighting for great jobs, great schools, great health care, and a truly great future for our country and for them. We are the party of equal opportunity for all Americans. Thank you. To support working families, we've reduced the cost of child care, expanded paid leave, and given 40 million American families an average of $2,200 more in their pockets thanks to the Republican child tax credit. Who would have thought that? We have cut more job-killing regulations than any you know this one. So you go back 4 years, 8 years, in one case longer than 8 years, we've cut more job-killing regulations than any other administration in the history of our country. And we're not finished. And we've ended the war on American energy. They want to take our energy away. They want to take our wealth away. They want to give us wind. If it blows, wonderful. If it doesn't blow, you got problems. Wind. They want to destroy our countrysides, put windmills all over them. Watch your house go down in value. You ever see what happens? They build a windmill within distance of your house. You can forget about your house. You can just say, well, that was the end of that investment. You want to see a bird graveyard? Go to the bottom of a windmill. Take a look. It's a graveyard for birds. They kill all the birds, lowering utility bills and reducing prices at the pump. That's what we're doing. We are reversing decades of calamitous trade policies. Washington politicians, I mean, you know this, they shuttered New Hampshire factories. You were one of the worst examples ever, NAFTA. What NAFTA did to your communities, I mean, to your state, is incredible. Shattered your communities and sacrificed your jobs on the altar of globalism. We can forget globalism. We want to take care of our country. New Hampshire alone lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs following that twin disaster of NAFTA and China's entrance into the WTO, the World Trade Organization, one of the truly bad deals ever made in the history of our country. For decades, politicians campaigned across this state promising to replace NAFTA. They lied, they never did it, they never even tried to do it. They wouldn't have been able to anyway. It wasn't easy, I will tell you that. But then they got elected and they did absolutely nothing. But I'm not like those other politicians. I keep my promises. We took care of it. We took care of it. Last month we ended the NAFTA. You saw last month. Bing, bye-bye. I say Donald J. Trump. Bye-bye, NAFTA. We ended the NAFTA catastrophe and I signed the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement into law. That's going to be great for our manufacturers, our farmers, great for everybody. Great for our workers. The USMCA will bring jobs back to New Hampshire right where they belong. They should have never left in the first place. Probably the #1 reason I ran for office. I'm 1 for 1. I have friends, some of these great senators. See, look at Lindsey over there. Look at Rand. These great senators. Sir, I've run 5 times and I've won 3. Another senator said, sir, I've won 7 times, sir. Southern senator. I've won 7 times, sir. And I've won 5 of those damn contests. I said, Senator, I ran once and I won just 1. And we're going to run twice, and that's going to be it. Although they think we're going to run much more than that. You know that. It scares the hell out of the fake news, I will tell you. They can't take a joke. I also took the strongest ever action to confront China's massive theft of American jobs. And our strategy worked. A massive tariff, and tariff money is pouring in and has poured in by the billions and billions. We never took in 10 cents from China. They ripped us so much you wouldn't believe it. Now they respect us again. Last month we signed a groundbreaking trade agreement with China that will defeat so many of our opponents. The money that's pouring in, people don't even believe it. And by the way, the virus, they're working hard. Looks like by April, you know, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true. But we're doing great in our country. China, I spoke with President Xi, and they're working very, very hard. And I think it's going to all work out fine. Rough stuff, I tell you, rough stuff. But I think it's going to work out good. We only have 11 cases, and they're all getting better. But our trade agreement with China will defend our workers, protect our intellectual property, and substantially boost exports of American-made goods. Isn't that nice? After years of building up other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. On no issue have Washington Democrats more thoroughly sold out the American people than a thing called immigration, right? Before I came into office, the far left's policy of open borders allowed deadly drugs to flow freely into our country, and that's what they want. I see them campaigning right down the street. It's really boring to watch, but I try and watch. No, I have an obligation to watch. Really boring stuff. But they want open borders. They want thousands and thousands of people to pour into our country, many of whom are not exactly what we're looking for, okay? I mean, murderers, rapists, and some other things. They're going to be poisoning our children with drugs, including right here in New Hampshire. And you have one of the biggest drug problems in the country. And we brought it down 18%, but we have to do better. 18%. Washington Democrats put the needs of illegal immigrants before the well-being of American citizens. They want to let anyone into our country from all around the world. Just come on in, folks. We're going to give you free health care. We're going to give you free education. We're going to give you more than our vets are getting. We're going to give you, every family will get a free Rolls Royce. You know, I said that, Matt. I said that to them. And some of the fake news picked it up. And they said, President Trump said every family coming into our country illegally gets a brand new free Rolls Royce. He lied, he lied, he lied. They gave me a Pinocchio. They don't get it, Matt, do they, Matt? Actually, they get it better than we understand. They get it very well. They get it. They know what's happening. And the wall is being built, I will tell you. The wall is being built. And you know, they went after our son. Everybody knows the wall is going up. So what's happening, you know, you do know who's paying for the wall, don't you? Right. Redemption from illegal aliens that are coming. The redemption money is paying for the wall. They're so sad to hear that because they say, okay, finally. They go, you have to understand, an entire party is fighting. They'll give me anything I want. Our military, we've rebuilt it. 2.2, it's really 2.5 trillion dollars over a period of 3 years. They give me anything, but not 10 cents for the wall. They said, we like drones. Well, drones don't keep people out. Drones are wonderful. They fly around, take pictures. We're going to give you the drone. No good. So we now have built over 100 miles of wall. And when we have that wall built, you have to see what happens to the illegal aliens that don't come in. I say the illegal, they can't come in. They don't come in. So we are up to over 100, substantially more than 100 miles of wall, and we'll have close to 500 miles of wall in the very near future. And by the way, you have to see, you wouldn't believe it, you have to see what happens when that wall goes up. You have to see the numbers change like magic. They change like magic. It's called, you know, you ever hear the thing, you know, with all the modern technology, all of the new computers, the new genius, the new everything, cyber this, cyber that. Two things never change, right? A wheel and a wall. Think of it, right? Right? A wheel and a wall. They're going to have a lot of brilliant people working over the years. They're never going to replace the wheel, and they're never going to replace the wall, and it's a high wall. Illegal immigrants coming into our country illegally. Very few of them are getting in right now. You know, Mexico's been terrific. We have 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our border, and the numbers went down 87% from this year and this time last year. And for the amount of money Washington Democrats want to spend supporting illegal immigrants, we could rebuild the cities in America. We could rebuild our cities.
Croc TV.